So the first thing that anybody does when they get access to Chat GPT is to ask it to make a poem, and that's also what we did the first time we had access to GPT-4. And being a mathematician, I asked it to write a proof of the infinitude of primes, with every line that rhymes. That seems like a good thing to do. So let's see what Chat GPT does. Sure, here is a proof that there are infinitely many primes with each line of proof rhyming. Consider it's just crappy. Okay, it doesn't have the lines rhyming. It just doesn't do what I asked. Okay, it didn't work. Okay, it's a correct proof, by the way. Which of course there are many proofs of the infinitude of primes online. So that's good, but it didn't do the job. Let's see what GPT-4 does. Okay, so can you write such a proof? Yes, I think I can, though it might take a clever plan. I will start by noting Euclid's proof, which shows that primes aren't just aloof. Assume we have a finite list of primes and that none have been missed. Multiply them all together and add one just to be clever. So at that point, at the add one just to be clever, I remember, end of September, I was like, what's going on? This is really incredible. I mean, the quality of this is incredible. But the point is you don't stop there. Okay? You don't test intelligence by asking a question, hearing the answer, and that's it, you move on. Either you are correct or not correct. When you try to test a student, you have an interaction with the student. Sometimes the student might also make mistakes, and you don't just say, you really don't understand anything, let me stop right there. No, you try to guide the student. Okay, so this is what we're going to try to do throughout the presentation. We're going to try to keep asking questions, and if GPT-4 goes off track, we're going to help it a little bit. Okay, so let's see how we can go further. And again, the whole point is that I want to be creative and go ask questions out of the box. So what I'm going to ask is to draw an illustration of this proof. Okay, so it's not a visual proof, So if I ask you to draw a proof of the infinitude of primes, it's not clear, what you would draw. You would come up with something, but it's not clear. Also, it's not supposed to output images. So how is it going to draw? Well, here I say it in the question, in SVG format. I could have even not said in SVG format. I could have just said, can you draw an illustration? And then it would have responded by, hey, here is the picture in SVG format. So what is SVG format? Doesn't matter, scalable vector graphics. It's a bunch of code. So it's going to answer with lines of codes like this. This is going to be the answer of GPT-4. And if you just save it in HTML, this is the picture that you get. Okay, so it's not amazing by any means, but it is the essence of what this proof is about. You have the finite list of primes that you have up to 9. 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, and so on and so forth. These are primes, okay, good. Now you combine them to a new number n, and then you add one, just to be clever, as it said. Okay, and this new n plus 1, this is a number that is supposed to be a prime. Okay, so this was just a warm-up. Okay, let's move on and try to dig a little bit deeper on these vision capabilities. And here I want to tell you about the strange case of the unicorn, which is kind of my favorite example. So let me just show you the question. The question is, draw a unicorn in TXZ. Okay, so in this audience, many of you are playing with TXZ, to draw images in LaTeX. And personally, when I was a PhD student and even later, I wasted many hours struggling with TXZ. Okay, it's a real pain to draw anything in TXZ. And of course, drawing a unicorn in TXZ, I mean, I don't know, it would take me like 2 days to do it. Okay, and moreover, I'm pretty sure nobody on the internet has asked this question or has drawn a unicorn in TXZ. Who would waste time doing this? This doesn't make any sense. Okay. That being said, we will not be convinced again at just the fact that I believe that it's not on the internet. We will have to probe. We will have to go further, and we're going to do it. Don't worry. But let me show you the unicorn that it came up with. Okay. So this is GPT-4's unicorn. Okay. So you see, when I see that, I am personally shocked because it really understands the concept of a unicorn. It knows what are the key elements. It was able to draw this very abstract unicorn. And just to be clear, so that you really understand visually, it's clear to you the gap between GPT-4 and Chat GPT. This is Chat GPT's unicorn. Okay? So this is how much progress has been made. Really, I want to be clear. Like, there is a world of difference between Chat GPT and GPT-4. If you played with Chat GPT and you were not convinced, I encourage you not to stop there. Okay? So, of course, you might still say, OK, this is not that great. But one of the things that we're going to see is that GPT-4 is intelligent enough also to use tools. So what you can say is you can respond to it and say, hey, you know what, I don't like your drawing that much, Can you try to improve it? And I've heard about these diffusion models, maybe you can use one of them. So what it's going to do is that it's going to say, yeah, sure, can you, go on this diffusion model website and, plug in my picture and ask it to improve it, and, this is what you will get, okay? So this is the unicorn of GPT-4 when it's allowed to use tools also, okay? So you can see where this could potentially go. Now, again, as I said, I don't want to stop there. We're going to probe further. How are we going to probe further in this case? What I'm going to do is the following. I'm going to take the TXZ code that was produced, okay? I'm going to remove all the comments in the TXZ code, because that's one of the properties of GPT-4 is that it produces code that is very much human readable, which is kind of funny for a machine, but it adds lots of comments. It really guides you, to its thinking. So I'm going to remove all of this information so that it doesn't know, that this is code drawing a unicorn. There is no information about unicorn in there, okay? I'm also going to make sure that, who knows, maybe it copies this from the web. I'm going to randomly perturb, all the coordinates so that it's something that it has never seen. And then I'm going to remove the horn, okay? And I'm going to say, you know what, this TXZ code, I'm going to give back the code. It's a new session. I give back the code, and I say, this TXZ code is supposed to draw a unicorn, but the horn is missing. Can you add it back? Okay, so it really has to understand, the code in order to be able to do that. And this is what happens, okay? So it was able to locate the head. You understand? This is not an easy problem. I mean, you have these three, ellipses. The three ellipses, by the way, the head and the mane that, it's not very good at drawing the mane. But it really, was able to locate.